With WAFC News, I'm Charles Murphy. First Bank celebrated 100 years in business with a celebration at the Bronson Arena in Moorhaven. The event included food trucks, free ice cream, goodie bags, and an address from former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee. Only 3 banks in Florida history have lasted 100 years: Capital City Bank in Tallahassee and Citizens Bank of Frostproof. President and CEO Carey Soud says the event was a success.
Well, I thought it went better than we had imagined. A lot of good friends and customers here. It's not too often, obviously, you have an occasion to celebrate 100 years doing business. So we were very pleased with the turnout in the crowd. And his remarks, I thought, were excellent, certainly consistent with our value system. So we were thrilled.
He says he's excited about the future, noting the bank has overcome some great situations in their 100-year history.
There's no doubt we don't have a lot of that history that we're able to kind of extract. There were 360 banks in the state of Florida in the 2004, 2005, and there were 160 after the Great Recession, so we lost over half the banks in the state. We're fortunate to have survived that. There are very much fewer today. There are only 75 or so banks in the state of Florida, so it's a diminishing gene pool, but First Bank is alive and well.
He also spoke on tremendous growth in the bank's assets. In the 1970s, it was $19 million. Today, it's more than $660 million.
It took us somewhere in the range of 75 years to hit our first $100 million in assets, which was in the 1990s, and for the past 3-4 years we grow $100 million every year. So it's been rapid growth since really the past 3 or 4 years. So the bank's doing very well. It's I think a testament to our style of doing business, our good customer relationships, and good community service stewardship. So we're hitting on all cylinders. It's been fun.
The bank recently donated $100,000 for Hurricane Ian victims. Governor Huckabee said the focus of his speech was on faith in business.
I wanted them to understand that First Bank is unique. I don't know of another like it, quite frankly. A community bank that unapologetically stands on biblical principles. Their core values are derived from scriptures of both the Old and the New Testament. And I just find that refreshing. I kind of just, didn't know there were people still doing that here.
He says a bank is very important to a community's success.
Function in a community if you don't have a strong bank. But a strong bank is not just one that has great assets. It's one that takes those assets and invests it back in the people who are going to make the community strong, whether it's a startup business, whether it's a farmer who's got to get his seed in the ground and his crop out of the ground at the harvest time. Banks are an integral part of making that happen. And so when there's a bank that doesn't just say, yeah, let's help the big businesses in which there's no risk, but they're willing to stand with somebody building a room on the house because they just had their 4th kid, are saying, we believe that young man is going to go to college and do well. We'll stand with him.
With WAFC News, I'm Charles Murphy.